Hey guys, welcome back. So today we want to talk about the AR15, kind of where it started evolution-wise and where it kind of went in the late 90s, early 2000s, and where we find ourselves today in 2022, and the trends that are affecting how the AR15 is constructed, how it's configured with options and things like that. Today we have Jason with us, and he may be a little bit nasally, but that's just the season. And the rifle that we have here with us today is manufactured by Fostech. Now, many of you guys will probably think of Fostech as the Echo trigger company. Yep. And they might associate them with the Origin 12, Call of Duty, you know, one of my favorite gas-operated shotguns. But a lot of people don't realize that they actually make AR-15s.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they don't just make any AR-15. In a market that's flooded with AR-15s, they're doing something quite unique, and that they've patented the process for manufacturing. And that is they're making their guns to mil spec using metal, but it's 33% lighter than just straight aluminum. Mm-hmm. And that's what really has my attention.
Yeah, when you actually pick one of these rifles up, it does feel very light in the hand. They've actually, at shows, like, hey, check this out, and they like toss it to you or whatever, and you're just like, holy cow, it feels like you're just holding some air, you know?
Right.
So they definitely did their homework on these things, and they've got them down as light as they possibly can while being absolutely rigid, in my opinion. So.
Right, and you have options, right? So I know that a lot of folks, so let's talk about the evolution of the AR-15. So at first, the AR-15 M16 came out. It was meant to be a lightweight weapon. You take a look at my early SP1s. They're super lightweight, pencil weight barrels, everything they could do to save weight, they did. Mm-hmm. And in the 60s, the fact that they made it out of aluminum was just groundbreaking. Nobody wanted that plastic and aluminum piece of junk, right? They wanted steel and wood. Mm-hmm. But that would be the future, right? At least until the 2000s. You know, the Germans, the Austrians, as late as 1977, were playing with polymers, but the M16 really kind of set the trend for modern battle rifles. And if you take a look at about any major country, especially NATO states, they're running something that has some part of the AR-15 in it, even if it's just the bolt head and its locking lug design. So it's been a very influential rifle, but it started off being super lightweight, and then we go into the late 90s, early 2000s, and people are putting big, heavy quad rails on them and lasers, and next thing you know, the dang things weigh as much as an M14.
They get heavy quick, surprisingly. Once you start hanging a bunch of stuff off of them, they do get kind of weighty.
And so people were going that route, then they were going the heavy and the piston route, and then where we find ourselves in 2022 is all that heavy stuff is, you know, fallen to the wayside. It's retro now, and everybody's trying to get back to the roots. Lightweight fighting rifle, right? Mm-hmm. You don't need a machine gun profile barrel because you're not going to be out there running it full auto. It's not a squad automatic weapon. You just need a lightweight fighting rifle or a defensive rifle or hunting rifle. And the mag, I was going to say mag tactical. We should bring that up, but the Fostech rifle accomplishes this massive weight reduction. So the base gun, if you get it with just all the lightning features, is going to weigh about 4.5 pounds. That's before an optic or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But that's silly lightweight. And then you can put a regular profile bolt carrier in it because they have a minimalistic bolt carrier that reduces weight. You can go up heavier profile barrels. You can get billet versus forged, but they offer a wide variety of options, and you can pick it how you want it. And the weight savings is, you know, varied upon those various options. But how they got started with this, and I did a article for Shotgun News. They hadn't changed to Firearm News yet. I went down close to a decade ago to Mag Tactical, which was down in southern Indiana, to write an article about this new rifle that was made out of a magnesium alloy, an aluminum alloy. And it was really interesting to me, right? And that's what this gun is. And the minute you say magnesium, what do people think?
Oh, it's going to light on fire.
Right. Yeah, brittle and flammable.
Yep. Brittle and flammable, exactly.
And that is so far from the truth, right? So they use primarily magnesium in the 30% range. They mix it with aluminum. They forge it, but they also put other trace elements in there. But you can, this is an example of one of their hand guards. This thing weighs 3 ounces. It feels like air.
I mean, that thing's actually kind of funny to just hold on to.
Yeah, you throw this to somebody like, huh? It's literally like you caught a feather. Mm-hmm. And this is made of the same stuff. So this is made out of that magnesium aluminum alloy. It's as thin as a standard handguard, but this thing is ridiculously lightweight. Lighter weight than carbon fiber. I mean, I've never felt a handguard lighter than that. Mm-hmm. And so they took that and they made the upper and lower receivers out of it, but they forged it. Mag Tactical wasn't doing that. So their process for making this thing is pretty in-depth.
So it's a magnesium aluminum alloy. So it's not pure magnesium. A lot of people think that it is. It's not. It's a magnesium and an aluminum blend. What makes this so unique is that this is actually forged. So if you were to think about Formula One racing wheels over in Europe, they've been forging that forever. So take that idea and apply that same technology to a firearm. So when you do that, it creates grain structure in the material, makes it super strong. So right now, this material is about 30% stronger than 6061 billet aluminum and still 30% lighter.
Right, because I believe Fostech acquired Mag Tactical.
They did.
So Mag Tactical was doing their process. Fostech then picked them up, refined that process through a lot of trial and error, mind you, like R&D, everything that goes on to it. And I believe they've come up with a absolutely solid product, because as anything Fostech that I've seen, it's not like they're putting out garbage by any means. These generally everything they make is nice stuff.
Yeah.
So, and it brings me to the point of, I would prefer this Fostech rifle, as light as it is, and the metals that it's made out of, over, do you remember those old like carbon 15s?
Yes.
And things of those?
Wasn't it Bushmaster that did the carbon 15?
I think Bushmaster did a carbon 15. I think
somebody acquired the rights.
Somebody else, DPMS, somebody else did carbon stuff where they were doing, they had multiple generations, and the buffer tube segment of the receiver there would snap off. It would break. The receiver extension would break off or crack or whatever, or you'd have the front trunnion or whatever you want to call it, the split or whatever. So all sorts of different things happened during those carbon 15s, and then eventually they just stopped, I want to say, making those things.
But then we had Cav Arms.
Yep.
So Cav Arms was actually pretty popular. I remember a lot of people wanting Cav Arms lowers. There's companies that sprung up to shorten the length of pull because it had a full A1 or A2 buttstock length, and they had companies that were shortening them and modifying them. The one thing that they never were able to do is use an aftermarket pistol grip. So you're kind of stuck with the grip that's molded to the lower. If you take a look at the What Would Stoner Do rifle, which we do have one, they went with KE Arms, and it's based on the same technology as the Cav Arms, but upgraded over the years and improved. But it's a polymer lower, once again, that those guys are using on the What Would Stoner Do rifle. I think it's a standard aluminum upper and just lightweight barrel profiles and handguards and stuff like that to get its weight down. But this is all metal, forged metal, and it has this tensile strength that rivals, what did they say, T6, 60...
I forgot exactly. I think we got him actually telling us exactly because we recorded a conversation with him. But yeah, I mean, this is some really strong stuff.
Yeah.
So significantly stronger than, I guess you could say, the What Would Stoner Do rifle.
Right.
And a lightweight package. The cool thing about it that I noticed with this rifle, and is you've got all the right things. So anti-rotation locking pieces on the handguard. You know what I mean? The barrel profile, while it looks pencil out towards the front, it is I want to say a shooter's profile.
Gunner
call it. Gunner profile.
Fax on gunner.
Where it's like a SOCOM cut to the gas block to .750, and then it goes to like a pencil after the gas block. So where the important part is, where the pressures, heat, and all that is much thicker than where it's not necessarily needs to be as thick there for weight savings. So,
and that was one of the major departures from the original Mag Tactical design.
Yeah.
Which they made it pencil all the way back to the receiver, which created some, I even think Faxon was reluctant to make that barrel because it was really, really thin to the extreme.
Oh yeah, no, that was probably too far.
But Fostech had to work out a lot of stuff. So the way Mag Tactical was making the guns was completely different than how Fostech came up with their proprietary system. And I don't know if we're authorized to talk about in details what they're doing, but nobody else is doing it. But it is forged. And therefore, it has the strength of aluminum. You can beat it with a hammer, and it's going to break just as readily as any aluminum receivered AR might break, right? You can stand on it. You can do all the other stuff. It's not going to chip when you drop it on asphalt. It's not magnesium. It's an alloy. But, and the other thing is people say, well, it can catch on fire. Well, I can take pure aluminum and turn it into aluminum dust and make explosives with it. Matter of fact, that's half of a binary explosive, right? It's ammonium nitrate and aluminum powder, right? So, but if you put a torch to this and cut it in half, it's not going to burn. Right. It's not going to act like white phosphorus and just ignite and burn a hole through your floor.
Right.
So it really has some interesting weight savings, but you don't give up anything because being mil spec, what's really interesting is it will take any standard accessory that will work with a mil spec upper and lower. And that's one of the differences, like when we look at the What Would Stoner Do rifle, the pins aren't even captive on that. You take the pins out and they're free floating like a HK91. You got to find some place to store them so you don't lose them. You don't give up anything. There's no trade-offs here in terms of functionality, features, and compatibility with other products out there, including being able to put your own pistol grip on it and buttstock, right? So you have that super weight light savings. You can get it 4.5 pounds, which is ridiculously light, and stick whatever you want on it.
Yep. And I want to say in terms of accuracy that we're getting out of the rifle that day, because we were using Nautilus ammo as our ammunition that we were shooting that day.
And guys, I want to tell you a little bit about Nautilus. Nautilus is a company that's right here in the United States. They manufacture new ammunition. They have a subscription that if you would like to sign up and join their subscription, you'll get serious discounts on ammunition. They sell 223, 9mm, and other popular cartridges. And Nautilus is one of those ammunition companies that we just recently got introduced to, and we've had really good luck with it. It's been reliable. It's nice, clean burning ammunition. And again, they have that subscription service. So if you're interested in learning more about Nautilus ammunition, just check them out on Google. Unfortunately, I can't link to them. But
right. So we were getting, in terms of a combat rifle or a fighting rifle, it was fighting rifle accurate with match grade ammunition in there, probably around same 1.2 or so in terms of accuracy.
On ammo, we're doing some 3-shot groups, there's some 5-shot. I would say it's going to be on par with a rack grade M4, which the expectation there is about 3 MOA with some match ammunition it likes. You might get it down to 1.5 to 2 MOA. And that's where this gun hovers in the 2 MOA area. I think we got a couple of 1.5s, but we'll put the pictures up. We took pictures of the groups, but and that was days ago, so our memories could be fading. But
I know.
I'll say it's definitely 2 MOA with match ammo, but some of the groups I think we did get a little bit smaller, but that's to be expected. You're using a lightweight profile barrel. Now, those groups were shot back to back to back, right? So the gun was heating up while we were doing this. And one of the things we did not notice was wild stringing, horizontal or vertical stringing going all over the place as the gun started to heat up. The groups did open up a little bit, but that's to be expected with any barrel.
You heat up a barrel, it's going to open up just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
As long as you're not getting, like you say, those massive swings in terms of accuracy.
And we've seen that in guns. When they heat up, they start stringing shots just like...
Mag Tactical did that. That's what that barrel did.
Yes.
It was too thin, and it would be whipping shots all over the place. And you're like, ugh.
Yep. So that's a trade-off when you go super lightweight. There's always a trade-off, right? There's no free lunch in physics. So whenever you go for super lightweight, you're going to have to look at what the trade-offs are. But when you're taking a look at this, that's what I think is so amazing about it, is you achieve that lightweight, but you can also stick whatever accessory you want on there. So there's very little you're giving up. You just have to get past this misconception that magnesium is some dangerous material. You don't want it in your house, and you think your gun's going to burst into flames when you run it too hard, or if you go to put a torch on it to loosen up a nut or whatever, loosen up a muzzle device, suddenly it's going to spontaneously turn into white phosphorus and burn your house down. It doesn't work that way.
Right. So the cool thing that I find about this gun that I find interesting is I like predator hunting. That's one of my biggest things. And the fact that I can get, uppers, lowers, handguards, or whatever from Fostech, I can actually build a pretty lightweight, like 204 Ruger or 20 Practical or some lightweight AR15 rig for predator hunting. Because there's a lot of weight that I carry out in the field. You got the thermal weight on there, your backpack, if you're carrying a sit-down seat, the call, the tripod for holding your rifle. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you take out into the field. And if your rifle has a whole bunch of extra weight, if you can chop weight anywhere you can, to me, that's, because you're not going to get any worse accuracy out of your barrel. You can put whatever barrel you want in there because it'll accept it. It's mill standard.
I'm going to take that 6 arc barrel that we use for testing when we were talking about the ATC. And then we were talking about the arrow precision. I'm going to pull that proof barrel out of that 6 arc, and I'm going to stick it in one of these and see how she does on coyotes and stuff like that, because I think it'll do fairly well.
So I really see this in like a hunting application for sure, to lighten that rifle up and carry it into the mountains, because you can carry 6.8, 6.5 Grendel, all sorts of hard hitting rounds fit in the AR-15 platform these days. So.
Yep, absolutely. So it's worth checking out. They have multiple different options. You can go with super lightweight handguards. This is an older version of it, but they have handguards that have a pick rail that runs all the way across the top, and they do lightning cuts across it, lightning cuts all over to get you that super lightweight. But if there's a particular handguard you want, stick it on there. You have a wide variety of barrels out there on the market you can pick from. And it's really kind of interesting. So if you're looking for a lightweight AR-15, you're really trying to get back to the roots of the rifle, you're trying to, minimize that weight, this is really worth checking out because the prices start around $1,300, and then depending on how you option the rifle, it goes up to $2,000 or more dollars.
Right.
But you can get started in this very affordably. If you compare it to BCM or any other big brand name out there. And I would say the quality of the manufacturing and everything, I mean, they have multi-million-dollar 6-axis machines down there that they're producing this stuff on. It's super high quality. They invited us down to take a look, and we'll have to go do that.
Well, I think in today's day and age, like if you're not producing a quality product, it will be known rather quickly.
Yeah, the internet, will get out there, either truth or false. They're going to go out there and, talk about it. So, but yeah, I mean, it's really interesting that this hasn't garnered more conversation because so many AR-15 buffs are out there and so many people are trying to get that lighter weight rifle, but I never see anybody talking about the Fostech guns. Now, keep in mind, it took them years after they acquired Mag Tactical before they perfected the forging process and everything that they wanted to do. So really the last year or two is when they've really started to push them out. You'll see them at Classic Firearms and stuff like that. I think Copper's actually going to, since we've been shooting several of the rifles as demo guns, we're probably going to start carrying them here. It's just really, really cool because it gets you back to the basics of the AR. It gives you a nice lightweight platform to start building upon for whatever you want to do. Self-defense, predator hunting, whatever.
I'm making a 204 Ruger out of one, so.
Yep. So, guys, if you want to learn more about the Fostech rifle, of course, you can find them on the website. I can't link to anything because then YouTube kind of gets upset, but just Google Fostech, Google their AR-15s, Fostech AR-15s, and you can find plenty of information about them out there. I'm very impressed. You will see the guns here again in future videos, most likely when we go out and do some coyote hunting this fall and winter. And I'm going to be using a 6 ARC with a proof barrel in one of their lightweight guns. So Jason's going to be building his 204.
Yep.
And we'll report back. If it warrants another video, we'll do another video and talk about what we discovered when we started changing calibers and how the guns fared in the field when we were using them for hunting. If you guys would like to support us here at the Military Arms Channel, the best way to do that is to become part of our Patreon family. There is a link in the video description below. Also, right here on YouTube, you got that little join button underneath the video player you're watching right now. Mash that join button, and you can support us here on YouTube in the age of demonetization. And last but not least, guys, check out Copper Custom. Thank you very much for 14 years of support, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Take care, guys.